Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel for this Monday morning, afternoon or evening across the world where you may be at. And today I'm going to be talking about the Member of Parliament for the Scottish National Party, Mhairi Black. It says, the headline reads, "I was failing through life, now I think I'm autistic." So as an autistic woman, I thought I would read you the article from the Times newspaper, which I will link down below in the video description. It says the former SNP MP tells a new documentary of her struggles with alcoholism and mental health as she tours a new stand-up show. Mhairi Black, the former SNP deputy leader at Westminster, has revealed she's been tested for autism and had begun abusing alcohol to curb the symptoms of undiagnosed ADHD. In a BBC documentary, Mhairi Black, Being Me Again, the former MP, aged 30, reflects on a tumultuous chapter of her life that saw her wrestling with anxiety, depression, and the pressures of being a young politician. The youngest MP elected since 1832, Black's surprise victory in Paisley and Renfrewshire South in 2015 at the age of 20 provoked relentless trolling on social media, which led to her being signed off work for 3 months. And I'll show you a picture of the said lady. That is her there. Black was a 20-year-old politics student when she shockingly unseated Labour's Douglas Alexander at the 2015 election. A few years later, she eventually was given a diagnosis of ADHD, which has changed her life. "I was always in the closet about my neurodiversity," she says in the documentary, adding it was confirmed to her that she'd not been abdicating her responsibilities as an MP. She adds that since she has learned about the crossover between ADHD and autism, "I'm beginning to wonder whether I'm autistic as well rather than purely just ADHD," says Black, who's undergoing testing for autism. Who knows how long it will take. Her father, Alan Black, recounts a particularly dark period in 2017 when his daughter appeared to lose her characteristic spark. "She did not look herself," he recalls. "I suspected she was maybe drinking too much as well. That was burnout," Black admits. "I just thought I was losing it." She reflects on how before her diagnosis, alcohol began to play an outsized role as she struggled to cope. "I don't think it's any secret that I enjoy a pint," she says. "But then I was starting to realise that you're going for a pint every day. Now, I don't mean I was going to get steaming drunk every night or anything, but just kind of flailing through life. I was losing so much weight. I was just throwing up all the time. It was just pure anxiety." Black describes the 2014 independence referendum campaign as magical, but losing the vote brought heartbreak. "Honestly, it felt like death," she says. "The only thing that was missing was a black net over my face." 7 months later, Black found herself elected to Westminster, unexpectedly winning her seat as a third-year politics student at Glasgow University by defeating Douglas Alexander, then the former Labour Shadow Foreign Secretary. Her father reflects on the whirlwind of her entry onto politics. Again, if I can show this picture of her, if I can get it on the screen. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's her in the picture. There was never a plan for her to be in politics, it just happened gradually. She was falling into it as such. She was only 20, but at the end of the day, when the arguments were put forward, we thought, right enough, she is probably the right candidate here. However, the transition from independence activist to MP was not without its difficulties. As soon as it was announced she was going to stand, then all hell went loose. Alan Black recalls, "She was monster for old tweets, the way it was twisted. She was portrayed as some bigoted, drunken wee lout. It was for me one of the worst times in my life, like getting a punch in the stomach." Her then partner and now wife, Kate McGarvey, was incensed by the treatment Black received during her enforced absence from Westminster in late 2017. Many critics accused her of laziness, unaware of the mental and physical toll the struggles had already taken. "She was ill and vulnerable," McGarvey says, expressing anger at those who mocked her. Stepping down from Westminster at the 2014 election, Black described the Commons as an outdated, sexist and toxic working environment. She then embarked on a sellout run at Edinburgh Festival, Fringe Festival, talking about life at Westminster. And this touring theatres this spring, her comedy show, Politics Isn't For Me. I'm looking forward to being me again, seeing where life takes me next, she has told the documentary. So basically, as a neurodivergent woman myself, as someone who has been legally diagnosed as autistic, I feel for Mhairi. I think she's been through a really agonizing time with working in politics, the toxic system as she describes it. I think politics is such a controversial job anyway, and you're having to conform to a job that is purely male based. And being a Scottish female who was elected at an early age is quite uncommon. So for her, she already had the young pressures of being a young MP, and not then from being an independent activist to then all of a sudden being put into the system, put into the House of Westminster, put into a situation where it is very male based and all about being the elite and being in the elite schools, etc. She came from a humble beginning. She still is in a humble beginning. I think for her, obviously, she realised that the seriousness of being an activist, being somebody, will take its toll on you. If you're neurodivergent, you don't kind of really understand the pressures of being neurodivergent. And being neurodivergent in a high pressure job like that is bound to play on your mental health, especially with the anxiety, the depression, the start of the drinking, the tendencies to go for more and more and more and more and more drinks. But I think it's really brave that she's actually finally managed to get herself out of the system, out of the toxic system, out of the environment where it's all about being elite and the top dog and expected to do things that you don't want to do, vote on issues that you don't want to vote on. And I think now she's hopefully found her place elsewhere. But being in that circle couldn't have been easy for her. I can imagine the high pitch stress that she would have been under. I recognise that as a neurodivergent, having to hide that away from the public because of the trolling and the mocking and the name calling and the labels and everything else that goes with it is very, 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 very unfair for a lot of neurodivergent people. A lot of neurodivergent people don't even admit they are neurodivergent a lot of the time because they feel they're going to get bullied and teased and made to feel like they're the weakest sex, and it's ridiculous. And I do feel bad for her that she's now having to go through the process with the autism screening. I think that's going to be a really hard thing for her to go through, and having to go through all her childhood, all her growing up stages, all the adult stages, and then obviously working in politics and now being out of it, being married as well is going to play a part into how she receives the help and how she goes forward with the autism journey in general. But being ADHD, there is a comorbid link with being autistic. So I strongly suggest maybe that she is autistic as well, but I won't say it because I'm not a medic. But usually there is I believe it's in the UK, it's a 60% chance that people with ADHD are also autistic. So there can be a crossover that she potentially could be. But again, I don't know that because I'm not a medic. But I hope she finds what she's looking for. I hope she finds that answer that she deserves. And I hope she gets the right help, the support. I hope she's got a great support network around her. And I can understand why she kept it so quiet back in Westminster, because it is a very judgmental place. It's very much about you do as you're told when you're told, and you're expected to work for the people and work for the community. And she did that obviously for Scotland. I'm not Scottish, but obviously she did quite a good job working for Scotland in the end. And I think this now is just part of her extended journey after that. And I think I do feel bad for her because obviously she's faced a lot of criticism, a lot of bullying. It's never okay. Let me stress this right now. It is never okay to bully someone, regardless if you're an MP, a councillor, you're neurodivergent, you're gay, lesbian, etc., etc., etc. Like, you should not bully someone because the way they act, the way they look, their diagnosis, it's got nothing to do with it. It's irrelevant. Please treat people with kindness because you never know what kind of battle that they're going through. And I hope by Mhairi standing up for herself and doing this article and doing this documentary, I hope it's given her some kind of confidence boosting, and it's allowed her to tell her story, her situation. I can really react to her situation because as a neurodivergent myself, as an autistic woman myself, I get it. I've faced it on social media. I've been bullied relentlessly. I've been trolled, I've been name called, I've been told, oh, you can't be autistic, you're female, you're too functioning, you're too sociable, and you dress well and you look well. And it's not about that. It's about the hidden struggles inside my brain that I can't tell you. So I hope you relate to this. I will link the story down below in the video description, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.